Chase and I got together when we were 18. At 22, I followed him to Hong on my own. In the end, the only thing I got was, I've never planned on marrying her, so quit the teasing. After 8 years of love that led nowhere, I chose to walk away. I stayed gone for 3 whole years. The day I flew back, a friend asked me, "It's been 3 years. You two must have made up by now?" Everyone assumed I'd come back to beg for a second chance. They never imagined I was returning to get married. Before we go on, hit subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. You're getting married? I was sorting the guest list. Yes, the Serafina wedding is next week. My friend fell silent for a moment, then asked, "What about Chase?" Hearing his name again after 3 years dazed me for a second. But Chase and I had been over since that day 3 years ago. I was the one who ended it. It had been his birthday. I cut a business trip short to surprise him and overheard him talking with his buddies. One asked, "You're 26. When are you proposing to Serafina?" Chase lounged back, half smiling. "I've never planned on marrying her, so quit the teasing." The friend was stunned. "You've been together for years. If you don't marry her, who will you marry?" "Chase, you just said it yourself, we've been together for years. Where's the thrill in that?" Honestly, in that instant, I couldn't believe my ears. Only 30 minutes earlier we'd been on the phone. He'd cooed like a kid, begging me to come home and make his birthday wish come true. Half an hour later, I couldn't even picture his earlier tenderness. That was when the idea of breaking up took root. That night, I didn't shove the door open to confront him. I simply turned around and went home to pack. Chase came back at 2 a.m. He walked in just as I was pulling my suitcase. He froze for a second, then swept me into a hug and nuzzled my neck. "A surprise? I love it." I pushed him away. "Chase. Lou. T's break up." We'd broken up before, but every time I was the one who crawled back. Mutual friends said Chase craves security, he needs a lover who won't abandon him. If you want forever with him, indulge him. Back then I truly loved him. So I was willing to pamper him, to put his feelings first. From 18 to 26, I loved him hotly, completely. And in return I got, "I'm never marrying her." "Come on, you're dumping me because I missed my own birthday?" His words yanked me back to the present. He pulled me into his arms again. "I'm not even mad, so let's not break up." Actually, my friends were wrong. Chase wasn't some awkward lover. On the contrary, when he wanted to, he could charm the stars out of the sky. On the surface, every split was his idea and every reunion mine. No one knew that in the dead of night he coaxed me, soft and hard, hitting every tender spot I had, making me forgive him willingly. That was exactly what he was trying now. Just as he leaned in for a kiss, I shoved him with all my strength. Caught off guard, he stumbled back several steps. When he steadied himself, I said, "I'm dead serious. This isn't a joke." In an instant his face turned cold, his eyes terrifyingly dark. "Say that again." No wonder he was furious. In 8 years, this was the first time I'd initiated a breakup. Everyone believed I could never leave him. Even Chase thought so. But I was tired. My gaze lingered on his handsome profile for a couple of seconds, then I looked away and wheeled my suitcase toward the door. A few steps in, the case wouldn't budge. He gripped the handle and stared at me. Why? He had beautiful eyes. When those deep, calm pupils fixed on you, it felt like being adored. I avoided them. "If we don't break up, will you marry me?" In these 8 years he'd stayed rational, ambitious, every milestone of his future plotted. Except me, I'd never appeared on that map. Silence stretched, heavy and suffocating. After forever, he finally asked, "Must we get married? Can't we just keep dating?" I met his stare. His obsidian eyes grew even darker. Just as mesmerizing as the day we met. But no matter how hard it was to let go of 8 years, a love without a future wasn't worth pursuing. I looked into those fathomless eyes and curved my lips. "A long run does get stale." Veins bulged on the hand clutching my suitcase. The words grated through his teeth. "You're sick of me?" "Yes." He barked 3-inch fine S in a row, until his eyes were red. I didn't dare look again, I might break first. I turned and kept walking. Only the dull roll of the suitcase broke the silence of the night. At the foyer, his icy voice sliced after me, "If you walk out that door, don't ever come back." I paused, throat dry. After a beat I left him with a soft all right and stepped out without looking back. We only saw each other once after that. The night before I left home. I realized I'd left an important document in his study. I texted him first. The living room was empty, so I headed straight for the study. Passing the master bedroom, I heard voices. I glanced inside. Chase lay sprawled while a woman gently wiped his face. I recognized her. Blair, daughter of one of Chase's father's close friends. Also the candidate for his family-orchestrated merger. Seeing me, she flushed and blurted, "Serafina, please don't misunderstand. Chase had too much to drink, nothing happened." I nodded, uninterested, and went to fetch my file. When I passed the room again, the door was already shut. Even so, I clearly heard Chase's groan. "Wifey," the word was slurred, tender, flirtatious. Though we were long over, an ache still spread in my chest. I didn't linger, I quickened my pace. At the foyer he called after me, "Don't come over again. Blair will mind." He leaned against the doorframe, lazy, shirt unbuttoned to the third button, a lipstick mark on his throat. My gaze swept the stain. I nodded. "Okay." The moment I stepped out, a vase crashed behind me. NBL. Air's shriek, "You're bleeding." I never looked back. That was our last face-to-face. For 3 years there was zero contact. Which is why he still doesn't know. I'm getting married. Once news of my wedding leaked, Julian was the first to call. A mutual friend of Chase and me. "Serafina, is it true you're getting hitched?" I didn't hide it. "Yep, next week." "I'm not sending a separate invitation. My fiancé had already mailed theirs, it would be redundant for me to send another." Before I finished, laughter erupted on his end. "I told you, if she were really tying the knot, she wouldn't leave you out. She's only using it as an excuse to come home. She's out of options. Chase's engagement gala is at the end of the month, of course she'll fight for him." Exactly. 8 years, how can she just watch Chase marry someone else? I froze, then realized all of Chase's friends were there. They were waiting to see how I'd crawl back this time. It was their usual game. Every time Chase and I fought, they'd gamble on how many days it would take me to surrender. They were convinced I couldn't let go of Chase. Forget the sterling fortune, the 8-year history alone meant no one could simply walk away. They assumed this time would be no different. Just then someone on the line shouted, "Yo, Chase, if she begs you back, are you taking the old chew?" A long moment passed before Chase's voice drifted over the line, "I'm about to get engaged, why bring this up now?" Someone else laughed and cursed, "You think Chase is stupid? He's got the sterling princess waiting for him, why marry a nobody? Would you?" Their jeers reminded me of an old story. When I'd first come to Hong, Chase's friends had treated me with exaggerated respect, and I'd believed they'd accepted me. Then, at Julian's birthday party, Blair lost a necklace worth a fortune. Her circle closed in on me, demanding I hand it over. By the time Chase arrived I was a mess, hair yanked, dress wrinkled. Blair said to him, "Chase, don't be mad. They only got rough because they wanted to help me find it. Once the necklace turns up, I'll apologize to Serafina, okay?" Chase smiled, walked over, and stroked the top of my head like I was a pet. "Come on, it's not a big deal." I clutched his shirt front, every injustice I'd swallowed surged up the moment he appeared. Before I could speak, he said, "If you wanted it, you only had to ask. Why go to all this trouble?" My mind went blank with a ringing buzz. I stared at him, disbelieving. "You don't believe me?" He didn't answer, the mockery in his eyes said everything. I started shaking, ice crawling under my skin. All those years together, and I'd thought he knew who I was. Yet he hadn't even asked before taking their side. Every gaze in the room landed on me, contempt, ridicule, indifference. Trust was nowhere. Suddenly Grandpa's parting words echoed in my head, "Girl, I won't stop you, but remember, class isn't so easy to cross. Even if he loves you, his family, his friends, will they ever truly accept you?" I thumped my chest and promised, "Don't worry, Grandpa, Chase will never let us down." Young and reckless, I hadn't understood what an unbridgeable divide looked like. Not until I was abandoned on that cliff of whispers did I realize an invisible chasm ran between Chase and me. The laughter on the call went on and on. Finally someone shouted, "Julian, ask her which church, old friends ought to send a gift, right?" A beat later Julian asked, "Serafina, where's the ceremony?" "Hong Island Parish." Before I finished, another voice cut in, "Hear that? Pure delusion. The Crosshairs' wedding is next week, same parish. Bet she's about to claim her groom's Adrian." They held. Even Julian murmured, "You remember Adrian? He's tying the knot next week." "Julian," I cut him off, "that day is Adrian's and my wedding." The line fell dead. Then came explosive laughter. "She's lost her mind, aiming for Adrian now. Just trying to make Chase jealous, pathetic. Chase, take pity, see her once. She cracked after you dumped her." I hung up without listening further. A text from an unknown number popped up, "Add me back." That familiar imperious tone, Blair to the core, told me it was Chase. I deleted it, expressionless, and powered down. Next morning Julian sent a video. It showed what happened after my exit. Chase lounged in a leather armchair, cigarette ember lighting his ruthless face. He laughed, low and hoarse, "I've dumped plenty. Am I supposed to meet them all? Way to go, Chase. But if you don't see her, she flies home empty-handed." Another guy shot back, "She asked for the breakup. 3 years later she wants a rerun, spoiled brat. Right? She even invented a marriage to Adrian, he babied her too much." Chase stayed silent, turning his phone end over end. Julian spoke up, "Serafina doesn't lie. Maybe it's true. Come on, Julian, whose side are you on? Or do you have a thing for her?" Julian stared the speaker down, "Forgotten the necklace frame up? Your prejudice drowned her in dirty looks for nothing." The room went quiet. Then someone said, "Easy way to check, we all got the cross invitation, right? I'll have my folks send a photo." A minute later he laughed, "See? Adrian's bride is surnamed Vance, Serafina. Relax, Chase. She's clearly here to win you back." The clip ended. They were right, Adrian's bride is Serafina. What they don't know is Serafina is me. 3 years ago Grandpa consulted a fortune teller who said bad luck clung to my birth name, a legal alias could ward it off. So Grandpa renamed me Serafina. I'd known returning would eventually throw me into Chase's path. I hadn't expected it to be this soon. On my wedding gown fitting day Adrian was delayed by an emergency. I arrived to find Chase occupying the VIP sofa. Our eyes met, I gave a polite nod and followed the stylist to the dressing room. While I waited for the makeup artist, Chase slipped in and locked the door. Before I could react he stood behind me, our reflections fused in the mirror. "Why'd you block me?" That familiar, intimate tone, like we'd never parted. In fact he'd been the first to hit delete. The day I left Hong 3 years ago he'd erased my WhatsApp and blacklisted my number. How did I find out? I hadn't. Julian let it slip. Back then Julian asked for a recent photo of Chase to pass along. I said I'd send it myself. Julian replied, "You can't, send it to me instead." I froze. No one knew our unspoken rule, even in breakups we never blocked each other. This was the first time. And Chase broke it. After forwarding the picture I opened my gallery and deleted every trace of him, then blocked every account he owned. Now the one who started it was questioning me. I stepped back, putting space between us. "Chase, we're over. And we're both about to marry other people, there's no need to stay in touch." He curved his lips in a knowing smile. "No outsiders here. Drop the act." I frowned. "Act how?" "Your engagement stunt, just to bait me into coming after you." Honestly, after 3 years his certainty that I'd crawl back stunned me. Then I saw the reason. For 8 years I'd forgiven him without limit, teaching him I always would. "Chase," I said, "whatever you choose to believe, I'm here for one thing, my wedding. Once it's done, I leave. If anything I've done gives you the impression I want a reunion, I apologize." Chase stayed silent, studying me. Finally he spoke, "Is it because I'm entering a family-orchestrated merger?" "It has nothing to do with that. I'm marrying someone else." He cut me off. Okay, you're still mad." Ignoring the rest, he softened his voice. 3 years and you haven't cooled down?" He raised a hand to ruffle my hair the way he used to. I stepped aside. "I'm not angry, Chase. I'm simply getting married. Are you deaf? I just told you. I came back this time to marry Adrian, not because of you." His hand froze midair. The light in his eyes cooled degree by degree, and when he spoke his voice was just as cold. "Serafina, if you're looking for some guy to make me jealous, why does it have to be Adrian? The cross threshold isn't one you can even reach." Just like before, Chase still doesn't believe me. Those prejudices are carved into his bones. He's convinced I could never come within 10 feet of Adrian or set a single toe inside the Cross family gates. For some reason, I burst out laughing. "Am I really that worthless in your mind?" His brows drew tight. "What are you talking about?" He paused, then sighed. "All right. If you want to come back, then come back." "Come back where? To your bridal suite? In what capacity exactly?" His face darkened. "Serafina, I'm already giving ground, what more do you want?" "I don't need it." I turned to leave, done wasting breath. The moment I pivoted, my wrist was yanked back. Chase's voice was low. "If you honestly want to get married this badly, I can marry you." I glanced over my shoulder, a mocking smile on my lips. "Marry me? Weren't you the one who never intended to?" His face went pale. "Who told you that?" "You did." I looked straight at him. That night, I was standing right outside the door. The confusion in Chase's eyes turned to shock, then to realization. "So you broke up with me because you heard that sentence?" "Yes. If I hadn't surprised him by coming back to celebrate his birthday, I'd still be in the dark, clinging to a future that was never going to arrive. Inside the cramped space, the atmosphere shifted. His thin lips pressed into a frosted line. Why didn't you come ask me? His voice was hoarse. Asking wouldn't have changed the outcome. Before he could say more, a knock cut him off. The shop assistant. Vance, do you need help? No, I'm coming out. While Chase was distracted, I wrenched free and strode out, only to stop the instant I saw who was waiting. Blair was standing in the doorway of the fitting salon, dressed in a wedding gown. I had no idea how long she'd been there or how much she'd aged. She greeted me with a smile. Serafina, long time no see. I tipped my head slightly in return. Could we talk alone for a minute? No. I'm busy. I turned to the assistant. Please give me a different room. The assistant nodded. Follow me. Wait. Blair glided over, skirts in hand. I heard you're getting married. Congratulations. Thanks. Our engagement gala is at the end of the month, will you come? If you gave us your blessing, Chase would be over the moon. Blair looked delicate and pretty, every inch the sheltered ingenue, and I found her exhausting. After she framed me for the necklace incident, she never apologized. Instead she told Chase, it's my fault, I should have searched my bag more carefully so things wouldn't spiral. Chase laughed. Everyone knows you're a scatterbrain, we're used to it. Blair then apologized to Julian, sorry for almost ruining your birthday party. They joked and laughed, and not one of them remembered to apologize to me, the actual victim, while they crowded around the culprit comforting her. Skip our engagement party, Chase said, yanking me back to the present. I looked up to see him swaggering out of the salon. The second he appeared, Blair's face blanched. She quickly forced a smile and cooed, Chase, I've been looking everywhere for you. I didn't realize you were catching up with Serafina. She slipped her arm through his. My bad, I forgot Serafina has her own wedding to prep for. Are you free tomorrow? I'm throwing Chase a birthday dinner. You've been away so long, perfect chance to see old friends. I shook my head. I have plans tomorrow night. Adrian is introducing me to his circle tomorrow. Even if I were free, I wouldn't go. But I didn't expect us to run into each other anyway. I slipped away to the restroom mid-party. On my way back I ran straight into Chase, who'd stepped out of the private room next door. The instant our eyes met, I caught the flicker of mockery in his. Thought you were busy? I pointed. Down the hall. I'm here with Adrian. He chuckled. Serafina, if you want me back, at least act like it. Keep this up and we'll be nothing for good. Over the years we'd broken up countless times, always at his initiative, and every time he crooked a finger I went running. No doubt he assumed this time would be the same. I told him flatly, we've already been nothing for a long time. I brushed past him toward our room. As I passed their doorway someone called out. Serafina, you really came. Blair pulled me inside with theatrical delight. Look who's here, everyone. Every eye in the room pinned itself to me. Someone snickered, oh, the necklace thief. Careful, Blair, she might lift your purse next. The air curdled. Their stares hurled me back to that party years ago when I'd had no ally, except this time Julian barked first. Enough. The necklace turned up in Blair's own bag. What's it got to do with Serafina? The ringleader rolled her eyes. Relax, just kidding. Julian snapped, jokes have limits. Bring it up again and we're not friends. She shot me a glare but shut up. I gave Julian a grateful nod. He smiled. Back for long? Leaving after the wedding. Blair squeaked, wait, I thought you were marrying Adrian and staying in Hong. We're relocating to the mainland. The same girl smirked. Sounds legit. Good thing I got the invitation or I might believe you're actually joining the Cross family, except it's addressed to Serafina, not you, Serafina. Julian barked, Chloe. Chloe rolled her eyes. I'm only stating facts. Blair murmured, maybe there's a mix-up, or her fiancé's also named Adrian. Chloe snorted. Coincidences, coincidences. She even claims the same church. Delusional much? The room went ice cold. Even Julian stayed quiet. I looked at them coolly. People only believe what their tiny minds can grasp. Ignorance is normal. Chloe jumped up. What did you say? Dreaming of marrying up now that Chase dumped you? Adrian wouldn't wed you in a million years. You think you're God's gift? Enough, Chase cut in finally. Chloe, drop it. He turned to me. I'll take you home. Let's go. I was leaving anyway, but I refused to swallow the insult. I stepped right up to Chloe. Yup, I'm God's gift, and Adrian's marrying me next week. What are you going to do about it? Her hand flew at me but never connected. I caught her wrist mid-swing and slapped her twice. Last time you framed me, you screamed the loudest. I've wanted to do that for ages. Chloe clutched her cheek, stunned. You hit me? The private room was dead silent, every pair of eyes fixed on me as if I'd just sprouted a second head. Understandable. In all the years I'd been in Hong, I had never once argued with any of Chase's friends. No matter how big the grievance, I swallowed it and tucked the hurt away. But that was back when I still loved Chase. Now that I didn't, why should I waste effort on any of them? I released her and turned to leave. Stop. Chloe strode over and blocked my path. You hit someone and think you can just walk out? And if I do? You're not setting one foot outside that door until I hit you back. She looked ready to fight to the death. I wasn't frightened. I rolled up my sleeves slowly. Fine by me. Just remember, injuries at your own risk. I'd earned a black belt in Taekwondo in college and trained in kickboxing for years. Never thought the skills would finally come in handy tonight. Just as Chloe lunged, Chase spoke again. That's enough. End it here. He dragged me out of the room. The moment we were in the corridor, I shook him off. You're disgusting, Chase. If he'd really meant to rescue me, he would have stepped in the instant Chloe opened her mouth. But he hadn't. He'd only been afraid his ex would embarrass him. Nothing more. I turned away and stopped outside Adrian's private dining room. My hand was on the door when a grip closed around my wrist. Chase's face was icy. Are you done making a scene? I blinked. What? Must you air our dirty laundry? Let the whole city know Serafina couldn't marry me, so she's delusional enough to aim for the Cross family? Serafina, how did you become like this? Right then, Chase felt like a total stranger. We'd met at 16. Started dating at 18. At 22, on graduation day, he knelt to Grandpa and swore he'd love me forever. At 26 we broke up, and he accepted his family's merger engagement the next day. After 8 years as his official girlfriend, I'd never truly mattered to him. Now, with both of us marrying other people, he still refused to trust me. Chase, Serafina. Behind me, a tall man approached at a measured pace. Wide shoulders, narrow waist, his tailored suit tracing perfect proportions. He halted beside me and studied Chase. And this is? Chase, an old classmate. I turned to Chase. My fiancé, Adrian. The instant Adrian appeared, incredulity flashed across Chase's face. When Adrian offered his hand and said, "Hi. I'm Serafina's fiancé," Chase's composure cracked wide open. Adrian didn't speak on the ride home. Several times I started to, but his chill aura shut me down. The car stopped in the garage, we rode the elevator up. Adrian headed straight for the guest bedroom. Wait. He looked back. What? I gathered my courage. I need to come clean. Chase is my ex. We haven't spoken in 3 years, running into him tonight was an accident. If it bothers you, I'll never see him again. After the confession, I waited, nerves buzzing. I'd known Adrian only a short while, we had no emotional foundation. Our marriage was pure accident. 3 years ago, I left Hong for my hometown and helped Grandpa at his herbal clinic. Adrian brought his grandfather in for treatment and noticed a photo on the wall. He learned the 2 old men had been army buddies. They talked late into the night, and the conversation drifted to grandchildren. Finding both of us single, they schemed to throw us together. I'd laughed in exasperation on and told Adrian, "Sorry, Grandpa's fixated on my marriage." You got dragged in. His lips curved slightly. No harm done. I'm new here, show me around? So Grandpa could reminisce, he persuaded Grandpa to move in with us. Because Adrian needed quiet to work, he stayed at a nearby hotel. When he was too busy to come for dinner, Grandpa sent me over with meals. Little by little, we became familiar. The turning point came when Adrian brought his grandfather for the 3rd course of herbs. The elders shooed us out while they talked. We sat in the front hall staring at each other. Just as I wondered whether to suggest going out, he asked without warning, "Serafina, marry me?" I thought I'd misheard. And marry what? The man lounged opposite me, long legs stretched out, eyes glinting. After these weeks, I think we could give it a try. My eyes bulged, I shook my head hard. We'd known each other barely 2 months, marriage seemed reckless. He only smiled. No need to answer now. I couldn't understand. With his resume and position, Adrian could find someone far more suitable with a little effort. So I said no. That night Grandpa sat in the courtyard sighing. I asked why. He said Grandpa had been wounded in the war and, at 70, was living on borrowed time. Years ago he lost his son and daughter-in-law. All he wants is to see his grandson start a family. Only then did I realize Adrian and I shared the same loss. If Grandpa died, Adrian would be alone. I tossed and turned all night. The next morning, eyes panda dark, I found him. Okay, let's try. He didn't look surprised. To give me breathing room, he set the wedding 6 months out, now. His excuse, time to date. But we lived in different cities, our dates were nightly phone calls about our day. So even now, we barely knew each other. Serafina. In the hush of night, Adrian's voice was low, cool. Everyone has a past. I allow yours, but you can't cling to it. My heart pounded. People say older men have pull. With Adrian, didn't have to speak, he already knew. What about you? Any past? He laughed softly. At my age, claiming I've never dated would worry you more, wouldn't it? I nodded. True. Yet after 6 months, we'd only held hands. Looking at his unfairly perfect face, I blurted, Adrian, are you not into sex? Shock flickered across his face. Grown-ups have needs, right? I explained. His expression stayed calm. Want to test that theory? The timbre of his voice stroked my nerves. I nodded like a puppet. Let's test. He smiled, bright enough to blind. Late that night, only a bedside lamp glowed. He came close, skin scented with shower gel. His wide palm slid down my waist, heat searing through fabric, my breath hitched, body trembling. In the dark, his honed muscles moved, untamed. Adrian's expertise was staggering. For the next few days I dodged him like a deadly snake. Then the wedding arrived. The moment I stepped onto the altar, Chloe and Blair looked seasick. Before the recessional, they slunk away. On my wedding night, ready for bed, I took a call from Julian. Sorry, Serafina, I know tonight's off limits, but could you come see Chase? If you can't, just talk to him. If he keeps drinking like this, he'll end up in the ER. Then call 911, not me. Serafina, please. If a friend were in trouble, you'd come, right? Sorry, my friends have boundaries. They don't phone a bride on her wedding night to chase down an ex. I couldn't tell if Julian was genuinely naive or just pretending to be. He had gone to school with Chase on the mainland and met me at the same time. So he knew, better than anyone else in this circle, exactly what Chase and I had once meant to each other. And still he chose to help Chase. Muffled voices came through the phone. After a moment I heard Julian say, I'm out of ideas. He won't listen to anyone, he keeps calling your name. You should be talking to his fiancée. Julian, he broke off the engagement today. Before the shock could register, my feet left the ground and I landed in a pair of solid arms. Adrian cupped my chin and kissed me possessively. I pushed at him, he didn't budge. Probably because I'd gone quiet too long, Julian added, if you can't come over, could you just say something to him? Anything, so he'll stop drinking. I shoved Adrian away and steadied my breathing. I can't. Before I could finish, the man behind me closed in again. This time the assault was fiercer than before. In my fluster I accidentally hit speaker. The line went silent for a long beat, then came the sound of shattering glass and Julian's frantic shouts. Where are you going? Chase. I don't know. When the call cut off, Adrian had all my attention. By the small hours I felt as if I'd been fished out of a river. Half a brand new box of 001s was gone. I needed my aching lower back, close to tears. Adrian, don't people say a man hits 30 and turns 60? He looked more like a 30 gets you a discount of 10 kind of deal. He chuckled, massaging the soreness away. Didn't anyone ever tell you men aren't all the same? I never expected to run into Chase again. After the wedding Adrian was busy expanding into the mainland market. With nothing else to do, I made lunch boxes every day and brought them to his office. One afternoon the moment I stepped out of the elevator Chase blocked my path. Barely half a month had passed, but he looked haggard. Serafina, we need to talk. I put distance between us. There's nothing left to say. He stared at me. I broke the engagement with Blair. What does that have to do with me? His eyes reddened. Do we have to be this distant? Yes. My husband doesn't like me getting too close to other men. But Chase, I don't know, and don't want to know, what you're hoping for. I just want to live my life in peace. I'm done with other people's drama. I turned and left without looking back. I never saw him again after that. A month later I moved back to Grandpa and decided to help him bring our herbal clinic to the world. I didn't expect that 6 months later I would meet Chase once more, inside our clinic. If I hadn't seen the name on the chart I wouldn't have recognized him. The once athletic frame now hung shapelessly in his clothes. He studied my gently rounded belly for a few seconds, then walked over to Grandpa in silence. Grandpa told me to go take care of other patients. No one knows what the two of them discussed, only that Grandpa didn't prescribe him anything. I never asked why. About 3 months later I got a call from Julian. He said, Chase is gone, lung cancer. I said nothing. Shock would be lying, but thinking of how he'd wasted away, it all clicked. If he'd followed treatment, he could have lasted a while longer. Julian broke into sobs. I'm sorry for your loss. I had nothing else. Silence stretched between us before Julian whispered, Serafina, be happy. Thank you. I stroked my heavily rounded belly. I will. Epilogue on Serafina's wedding day, Blair and Chase had a vicious fight. It started when Blair left the reception and phoned Chase. Guess who I saw at Adrian's wedding? Chase, are you that bored? Ignoring him, Blair went on, so Serafina really is Serafina. She's Adrian's bride. She marveled, turns out she never lied. Though you can't blame us, she never mentioned the legal alias. Blair, Chase cut in, let's call off the engagement. She froze. Why? I don't want to marry you. Blair felt lightning strike. We're weeks from the engagement gala and you're dumping me? What am I, a joke? I'm sorry. Huh. This is about Serafina, isn't it? Saw her marry someone better and now you're choking on regret. Chase snapped, shut up. Truth hurts. Back when she clung to you, you treated her like dirt, now she's someone else's wife and you can't stand it, can you? Through clenched teeth Chase said, enough. I'll speak to your parents myself, just know it's over. Blair talked right past him. But Chase, the dazzling Serafina. You see, another man polished that diamond. When she was with you, you only drained her sparkle. For once be honest, you never deserved her. Chase hung up mid-sentence. He sat clutching his phone, chest heaving. Yet her words echoed like a curse. She said Serafina's glow was another man's doing. Chase refused to believe it. He dragged Julian out and asked him to stage a scene. Before dialing Serafina, Julian warned, this is the last time, Chase. I know every rotten thing you've done, get a grip. Chase was sure a little groveling would bring her back. He was wrong. No matter how Julian pleaded, she didn't waver. In fact, through the phone, she was tangled with another man in the most intimate way. The moment her broken moan reached him, Chase bolted. That night he waited outside the Cross mansion until dawn. Only when the lights that had burned all night finally dimmed did he leave. From then on he drank, smoked, did nothing useful. The Langfords first refused to break the engagement, but once they saw his downward spiral they speedily pulled out and cut every collaboration with the Sterlings. Seeing him sink further, the Sterling elders began grooming another heir. Chase didn't care. He spent every night in bars. When sober, he shadowed Serafina. Like a voyeur he watched her step out hand in hand with another man day after day. Only then did he realize what he had lost. The day the doctor confirmed cancer, Chase actually felt relieved. His final wish was to see Serafina once. When he finally did, he didn't dare approach. Her eyes held a gentleness he had never seen. That day he learned she was carrying another man's child. She had once sworn she would only give him children. Liar. Grandpa scolded him harshly, then softened and told him to let go. He understood. This body was beyond herbs or pills. When the end came, only Julian sat beside him. He told Julian, after I'm gone, bury me on the hill behind Serafina's hometown. He closed his eyes before Julian see. Bold answer. And Julian never honored that wish. He bought a grave site on the outskirts, places Chase as far from Serafina as possible. Sorry, brother. Don't bother her anymore, this place suits you better. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. We look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.